can
A
like
wizard. I've
instigate them.
always had this like kind of like wondering about you, and I always wondered, you know,
All right.
if Marvel came to you and asked you to
Very
do
good.
like a Thor series, what would your Thor series be like?
What would my Thor series be
Yeah,
like?
yeah. What would your Thor series be like?
Hmm. I like when Thor battles more mythical threats. He's kind of gone through them all. They had to start making up new ones for this recent stuff. Um, yeah, like I guess mine, I would do like one of those past Thor stories that they do where he's the younger Thor and he's
Mm-hmm.
doing more like Viking tales and he's fighting like trolls and giants and stuff like that. And it's not really an Avengers, a modern Avengers story. It's more like that. I would do like try to tell some kind of like singular story within the ancient past time frame or something like that.
Hmm.
Like a lot of the times if you're handed the reins now, right, you gotta work around so much. And Al Ewing is doing that with Immortal Thor, and he's tying in stuff that was started in the last Thor run, possibly, where basically like Thor was prophesized to die, and so they're basically weaving that in now to Immortal Thor. And
okay.
it's basically what the title Immortal means in the Immortal Thor story, which Cynic, I was going to talk to you about it because you read, we both read, I reread up to issue 5. You read it for the first time.
Yeah.
Issue 3 specifically. Did you notice the one where Thor crafts his axe, right? Did you notice anything thematic about that story?
Not really. I mean, I mean, what were you getting at with that? I mean, he gets taken there by Loki or whatever, and then Loki's asking him, "Do you trust me as a friend? Do you trust me as a brother? Do you trust me as an enemy?" And then he sits there and he goes, "You've got." He says something along the lines of like, "You've got what you need by what you keep in your helmet." And then he crafts his. Well, he gets all pissy, and then he destroys the he destroys the planet. Basically, like all the foliage. Yeah, right there. He's destroying all the foliage.
Yeah. So right here, right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, you must be hungry, right? Here's a bunch of food. And then he's like, no.
He said, I turned these rocks into food for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and he destroys it. And then later on, he's like, well, like, you could leave this place if you killed yourself, and the Valkyries would surely catch you. You're all Father of Asgard. And he says no. And then later on,
he says there's some rules that even gods have to.
I like and he says like he goes like, I'll let you go if you bow to me and declare me king of Asgard. And he says no. Does that remind you of anything else?
It does. It reminds me of when Jesus spoke to Satan.
Exactly. So Immortal Thor, because Immortal Hulk was Al Ewing said was inspired by the Old Testament. Immortal Thor is inspired by the New Testament.
I like that.
So,
I
like that a lot,
actually. There's a couple things with that, and this is one of the more glaring ones. But it's possible with Thor's like prophesized death, we're gonna get like a death and a resurrection type deal.
I separate my mind so much from like Christianity when I read these sort of things nowadays because modern comics and stuff normally they shit on it, right? But no, that's a very good, pretty 1-for-1 right there. And I do like where he says, "Now I know you're a liar because you would never sit on the throne."
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
I think this definitely works way better with Thor than fucking Superman.
I thought you were gonna say Jesus.
What? No.
Wow.
No. What the? No.
Lord, forgive him.
I may not be a good Christian, but I do consider myself a Christian.
Lord, forgive him. He's missing a couple of brain cells.
But no, that whole book 3, it started out like a little boring to me, and then it gets really good. I liked it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
My God, that got me wanting to read it now. Like that actually got me wanting to read it.
Yeah,
I'm reading it. I'm gonna finish it this weekend, or as much as on there.
What issue?
Yeah, those
that?
first
issue
5, issue 3,
Okay.
or issue 3.
Yeah, I was able to read up from the annual all the way to 5 today.
Yeah, skip the annual.
Don't read the annual. It has
annual's crap.
And there's
Annual
artifacting in it and stuff. Like,
yeah. Jim is here. Jim tells you, hello, Jim. Merry Christmas. It is not Christmas anymore, Jim. It is Yule, and it is Thor's Day, holiest of days.
I swear,
Oh my
Jim.
God,
Yeah,
this
bro.
You
Norse
apostate.
supremacist bullshit.
We're all going to hell.
Jesus is the goat, but
Yeah.
not today.
Wait a minute.
Technically, Jesus is the lamb, is he not?
That's
No,
correct.
there's I've heard somebody say that technically he is the goat because they sacrifice a ram in the Old Testament.
Mhm.
You don't usually sacrifice lambs, you sacrifice rams.
And
Like the
I would-
truck?
No. A ram is a grown-up lamb.
It's also a truck.
Yeah, but only for like a certain culture. We're not going to go there.
Okay,
on
we're
a
gonna.
Wizard's
We're gonna
channel.
so anyway,
Isn't
Cynic, I was
Immortal
telling you about how
Fist?
those recent issues they changed the artist. Like the artist that I was just showing off, he leaves after a certain point to do Ultimate Wolverine. They
You
get
said
this
it was
new
after
guy.
book 5? Or
I don't know if it's after book 5, but it's after book 5, but like down the line. Like it's not directly after. I don't remember when
I
there's
was
a
about to
trade
say,
off, but
because even that art, it's good, but there's a few things
So,
that I'm reading that I'm
this
looking
is-
at and I'm like, that could be better.
this is the most recent art, and before the show I said like Cynic, it looks like I drew this in a lot of ways, in a bad way. So like this is the one of the panels from the most recent art. Like
no,
it's held up by coloring. It's held up by coloring, but like
Dude.
Enchantress. I like it. Enchantress.
Oh my god,
like
Hey, boys.
like
what did y'all
Magnie's
do? Like
fucking
before the
hand.
Oh my god, man. Look how
There's one that-
square-headed he is.
Look at this.
There's no detail. Look at the fingers.
Yeah.
Those are fingals. Those aren't
No.
fingers. Those are fingals. Look at that. No,
Like-
look at go back up to that panel right there. Look at him on the right. Look at his fist. at his
Yeah, right.
Ew.
No, look at the other one. No, look at the one
Yeah.
he's pointing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at my
even
fingal.
like look at even right
Look
here
at
where they
Mjolnir.
like
Looks like a regular, just a basic ass hammer.
Who's
like
that?
they
Is that
didn't, like,
Boulder?
cut it. No, so this is Thor's son Magni from an alternate
Oh.
timeline that
Spoilers.
they used magic. Spoilers, but they used magic to bring him into the main 616.
What's up, Baki?
I mean, his head
Um,
kind of looks like a boulder.
Yeah, dude, they squared him up
Baki.
too much.
That's bad.
That's Ripaverse good, says Stray Beans.
Oh, that's not. No, actually, I've seen.
I hate to
Rippaverse
say
do
this.
better
Yeah,
than
I've
this.
seen Rippaverse do better, man.
Yeah.
that's pretty
People said,
bad,
like,
bro.
People said like this is like Immortal Thor got like the largest downgrade for like art. Like they just
Oh, that coloring is so rough.
Oh,
Oh, why is the coloring?
look
It feels
at Grey Gargoyle.
What the fuck is this Batman?
like the
thing?
coloring feels. All right, you know how like when you see these indie comics that are coming out and you see the
Dude,
color in them.
oh, wait, go back.
Like
back.
we saw
Look
one
at his
yesterday. We looked
face.
at right.
Look at that
um,
mush mouth.
It's that sort of coloring. Like none of. Look at the. Why is the shade? Go back up to Grey Gargoyle on that same panel. Where's the?
Right
All
here.
right, so the light source is coming from in front of him. Why is
Mhm.
his? Why is the top of his nose shaded?
Yeah, like he's supposed to be wearing a mask, he's just not. But like if they put his mask there, it wouldn't, because he's got like a domino mask normally.
Oh, look at
There's-
Bifrost. The Bifrost looks terrible. It just looks like a basic bitch rainbow.
Well, yeah,
It's
when you
so
see it like
cool
that,
in the first 5 books. Like
yeah,
when
like
they,
that first
when they
couple
piece
issues.
it
and-
together,
That-
like it
that's not-
comes together like a stained glass and
That-
stuff. Like
That's
Mhm.
not the Bifrost. That's the Care Bears. They make a cameo.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the
a-
Care Bears there.
yeah, because it's not supposed to be arched like that either. Jesus Christ, man.
So yeah, so like I said, the
No, this is so bad.
art takes a massive downturn.
Oh
And like I
God,
said,
I'm so
read-
sad. I'm excited for this story.
Read
I hate
Ultimate
you
Wolverine.
so much, Wizard. I hate you so much.
Yeah, I brought great holy joy to you, only to like turn it away.
No.
One thing that Thor fans might take might have umbrage with, I guess, is that Magni originally in the original timeline was worthy to wield Mjolnir, so Thor throws it to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To like see he's holding it, and Thor being
Yeah.
Allfather can actually decide who wields it or not.
Yeah. He says that in like issue 4 or 5.
Yeah. So he
No, it's issue 5, I
specifies.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, he specifies that it's like I'm not, like I did not deem him worthy. So like he's not Magni right now is not worthy to pick up Mjolnir.
So why is he holding it?
Because allowing it.
No, Thor's not allowing it.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it for you, but like he can decide, and he decides that someone's holy, or is worthy of picking it up for like story reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just breaking canon of this book.
So so he says like my son is the god of strength. Mjolnir is as heavy as it needs to be if you're denied lifting it. But my son is the god of strength, and he's as strong as he needs to be.
Oh, that is so.
Yeah, this is people are like they basically kind of did shoot the whole worthiness enchantment right in the back, where it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like Mjolnir's being polite. He does say like it feels heavier than normal, right? Because he's not worthy of it, but he is strong enough to lift it. But like that shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, but that's immovable object meets unstoppable force. So
if anything, he should have been able to like nudge it or something, or like or like it's enough where he's holding it close to the ground, and then they could make it a feat of like he's not picking it up, but look how it's not even touching the ground. That's his all of his force. That could have been cool.
Or he can wield it, but it's still so heavy that he can't really like move very well with it. Like he can't really like swing it and hit someone with it.
Yeah. So then says Mjolnir is being polite.
Yeah, that's why like he's being, Jim says this is retarded. Yeah, like this is not like it does this moment where they play catch with it, and the point is that it's like like this is what mortal fathers do with their sons. But he should have just been worthy of it, and then it could have avoided this whole conflict.
Yeah.
But yeah, so normally Al Ewing is a big like stickler for continuity. Like you'll see as you read Cynic, there's a lot of like random callbacks to the myths, callbacks to the Eddas, callbacks to the original, like some of the comics, like. It's nuts. Like it's like wow, we're calling back. Like even Magni, him being from this alternate timeline, is from one of the like random Marvel stories from like 1998 or something like that. And it was like just like a thing that ended, and then they were like erased from the timeline, and like Thor has the memories of it, but it's never brought up again. And it's like whatever, hey, like it's over, whatever. It was just a one thing, and then they're just like, yeah, it's back now, whatever. And it's like, whoa.
What about Modi? Does Modi shows up?
No, Modi. So like Stray Beans asked, Thor had 3 daughters. That was the old King Thor timeline. I don't know if that's still with all like the time travel that happened with Gore the God Butcher and all that.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So
sad, man. It's disappointing. Like this hurts my heart.
I mean, there is still like only issue 5. There's still plenty to go. Like that was issue 15, so you got like 10 issues of Sauce still. But
all right, then I'm.
No, actually, this is issue 18, so you got plenty more.
Okay.
But there is like they take a break from doing the Utgard stuff and do like Earth stuff for a while.
Okay.
There's stuff going on with Roxxon and that guy's thing, and there is a bit of like a climate change kind of underlying message, but not really. It's there, but it's not. Like apparently that's Al Ewing's thing. He likes to throw in crap like that, but not in like an egregious way. Like even like there's that part in issue 1 that's like the grifters would have hated it and wrote off the whole book. Yeah. Right. But it's nothing, right? Like it's literally nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, but it's just like there's a trans flag in the background at one point, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I didn't even see that.
I mean, at this point, you kind of have to expect something like that to be like a background.
But it's to illustrate how Thor is as a god of the people when it comes to Earth, right? He's a man of the people, and so he helps out.
Literally what he says, like before he takes his all sleep or whatever.
Yeah. So like
he pushes himself to like save all these people and to fix everything before he takes over.
Yeah. And like someone says like, hey, these mutant haters have captured my mutant friend or whatever. And so Thor shows up and kicks all their asses, and then he parties with them. They're a bunch of college kids, and they have like a trans flag in the background. That's it. It's one panel.
Yeah.
Stray Bean says changing artists like that is straight up a legitimate problem with mainstream comics. It'll hurt rereadability of the story once it's collected. Yeah, like you're literally gonna be like flipping a page and it's gonna be like, you know, the great art, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah, like the art you showed at the beginning is really nice. I like the colors and everything, but daggum, man, the rest of it is
like
I mean, literally, Rippaverse looks better than that shit, and that I actually felt like my heart just had a palpitation when I said that. Like, ugh.
You know, I've shown off the first issue stuff before, how he tells the Blizzard to go away, and he does feats like this too later on when
he looks a little twinky though in these.
Well, I mean that's
oh, does he, Cynic? What's wrong with that, Cynic?
That's the Goldilocks thing.
You know, just the sexuality mainly.
Oh, okay. So all of us twinks are homosexuals. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think by definition. Speaking of twinks, you said you liked Loki's design. You said in.
Yeah, I like it. It fits him being a trickster and being the storyteller and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think it fits him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I was waiting for Jesker to show up with him as his profile picture, but
yeah, then he changes his costume a few times when he becomes like
the storyteller
then in the issue after issue 5 is like them telling the story of a past mission they went on, which in itself is a retelling of a Marvel comic prior, but he wears his classic costume for that one. Speaking of twinks, Preston has entered the chat. He scripted out for me already. And don't you go deleting that message, Preston. I know you do that. It's on there. It's too late now. You got to keep it.
Even if he deletes it, it still shows up in the StreamYard chat.
Yeah, it still shows up in the StreamYard.
It's there. Why is Loki missing a tooth?
But
yeah,
no,
I don't know that story either, Stray Beans. I was wondering the same thing. I was like, that looks like Jesker.
But like the art here that they do for Tauros coming out of the storm is just so cool.
Oh, that's
like
Tauros. I thought it was Uranos.
No, it's Tauros. He's the like Celtic god of thunder, and they basically take that and make him this Utgard,
the original,
which is basically an elder god, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We learn a lot more about the elder gods. Like Thor's mom is an elder god, Gaia. We learn about like their origins, like.
Hold up, wait a minute. But Odin fucked Gaia?
Yes. So actually the mothertage of Thor was very randomly retconned and changed around. Originally back in like I think like the 70s they revealed that his mom was Gaia. That's why him being so connected to Earth is part of his character, and it's part of his conflict because he's literally torn from Asgard and Earth
or whatever.
Yeah. So but then they introduced the that then is like his birth mom or his raised mom, Frigga, right? Who we know from like the myths and like the Marvel movies, right? So that's who raised him, and he loves them. He loves them both like mothers. And then they threw a big wrench into the works when they, as Stray Bean said, so they brought in the fact that Odin had sex with the Phoenix Force back all the way back in like 10,000 BC in Avengers 10,000 BC or whatever. It's like the caveman Avengers story. And Odin is like the Thor of that book. And then the Phoenix Force possesses this red-haired cave woman or whatever. So then you're telling me that Odin made love to the Phoenix Force. Phoenix Force, yeah.
And the result was Thor.
No. So he had sex with the Phoenix Force. Then the Phoenix proclaimed itself Thor's mom like millennia later, right? And like, because that was said in like the modern book. And then basically they retcon. They made it a mystery, like, did that happen? And do we know? And then they basically said that what happened was it was some weird thing. It was like the Phoenix Force possessed like Frigga while she raised Thor at some point. It was like, and so like they're all three his mom it was some convoluted thing, but it basically ends up now that it's like, no, he is Gaia's birth child. Like Gaia did like born him, then that's what everything is going with, right? And anything else is a bunch of like bullshit and ignore it. Basically, it's like they were trying something. It means nothing. They tried to like make it work, but it's basically the Phoenix Force is a clingy ex-girlfriend. And that's how they basically kind of wrote it.
Dude, you know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like the
Greek mythology.
Yeah, but it sounds like the god version of a soap opera.
Well, that's not all, because then we find out in the Jane Foster Thor run that Mjolnir is actually sentient and has a primordial storm trapped inside of it that Odin captured. We find out that storm is also a woman, and Thor also possibly had sex with it.
Wait, so that was in James Foster Thor?
So
they
established that the hammer was sentient in Jane Foster's Thor, and then the storm inside of it breaks out and becomes like the goddess of hammers or whatever.
Yeah. So and Thor fucked a hammer?
No, Odin fucked the hammer. Odin fucked the storm and then put it inside of the hammer. He fucked an actual storm and put it inside of the hammer.
That's fucking...
Yeah, who wouldn't? I would.
Yeah. So
that sounds
Preston Moore says, "Hell virgins. Sorry, I'm late. I just saw Wicked. What'd you think about it? How'd you like it, Preston? It's amazing, right? It's a great movie. Hushbuck.
Best movie of 2024, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this is
that's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Barrel.
I am seeing that.
We're not getting into this. We're not going to do it. Let's go back to
this. Is a holy
having
day.
sex with.
So that's the storm within Mjolnir.
That's what after the storm broke out, this became like the goddess of hammers.
I kind of fucked with it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, all right.
Not so like Odin, that.
Odin banged this. Odin banged
the. Let me see if I can find it.
Odin got a thing for elementals. I see.
Now, I don't need to see the Rule 34
the god Tempest. That's what it was called.
The goddess Tempest.
The god Tempest. What'd you say, Jessica? So this is what Odin made.
I don't need to see the Rule 30. Is that a sperm cell fertilizing an egg?
No, it's literally just a storm in space.
Is that a penis?
So
he's not saying no.
Well, I'm saying like that. It's not. It's literally just like this is a swirling storm. And they put it inside of the hammer, and possibly Odin fucked it, but I'm not sure.
Dude, this shit got weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Anyway, so there was a point. There was a point where people were trying to figure out, or people were basically saying, like, what the heck is Marvel doing with the lineage of Thor? And then they came in, they're like, all right, fuck all that bullshit. We're just going back to what it is, which is he's Gaia's and Odin's son, and that's it. And he's raised by Frigga, and Phoenix is a clingy ex-girlfriend, and the god Tempest, I'm pretty sure, is dead. And I think actually like the god Tempest was just like confused or something. I don't know, but so yeah, so they ended all that, and now it's basically the fact that Mjolnir is sentient is ignored, because I'm pretty sure Mjolnir broke, and then they repaired it. So like they did kind of like they had it kind of like Thor Ragnarok where the hammer was broken. So yeah. I think they were like, well, let's have it be broken in the comics, and then they.
I mean, to me,
you'll
fair,
see. You'll see if you read. Yeah, you'll see if they read up to Immortal Thor. They mentioned putting it back together.
I always kind of assumed that Mjolnir was sentient to some extent. It just always kind of made sense to me, because it wouldn't let just anybody wield it. But I like the idea that it's basically one of one of the people that Odin fucked back in the day. That I didn't see coming. That not in a million years.
No one saw that coming when they announced it.
That's just kind of dumb in my opinion, personally.
Yeah, Thor's been kind of getting random stuff thrown at him as far as like lore goes. Right as it stands now, like I was saying, like Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. Apparently in like Phoenix's current comic, she's fighting Thor villains and stuff. Like there's like Thor stuff has just been like silently going crazy for like.
Sounds like they don't know what to do with the guy.
Well, it's not his books. It's just using his mythos. But like no one's using like Egyptian myth or something like that, or like they're just like, hey, use Thor stuff, and it's like, all right, it's all right there, you know, you use it.
Thor, go fight Ra. What would be the equivalent to Thor in Egypt? Mahis?
Well, I think they've done stuff with the Egyptian gods in Thor before, because they've done it with, you know, Hercules and all that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
All the pantheons exist in Marvel.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think it'd be Seth.
So
Seth
speaking
would be like the weather god. I don't remember my Egyptian.
No, Seth is like
Seth.
Wait,
not Seth.
Yeah, Seth is like
no, Seth with an H.
Seth
with an H.
That's what I said.
Like thought.
Okay, so wait a minute. 3 people are hearing you say Set, and you're arguing with us.
So Thor is a sky god, technically more than he's a weather god, but he's also a sky god. So Horus could also count for that, but I don't know who
he's
controls
the god
weather.
of thunder, though. That's Seth.
Seth was an ancient Egyptian god of chaos, storms, violence, in the desert.
Yeah.
Boom.
So that could also work.
But it also says that Seth was a trickster.
So
he may be more akin to Loki.
Newt is also goddess of sky. Shu is goddess of air.
He's also the god of thunder and war.
Tefnut is goddess of moisture. Ladies.
I don't know.
Wiz never met that god.
Yeah, Seth is god of storm. So it's one of those things that there's like they all kind of
Horus makes sense.
Govern
though.
a lot.
It says here he represented many aspects like life, the sky, kingship, healing, and protection. That kind of sounds like Thor.